the ancient connection between Sirius, the Earth, and mankind's history. Since ancient times and across multiple civilizations, the star Sirius, the dog star, has been surrounded with a mysterious lore. Esoteric teachings of all ages have invariably attributed to Sirius a special status, and the star's importance in occult symbolism is an attestation of the fact. And what makes Sirius so special, though? It's simply due to the fact that it's the brightest star in the sky. Or is it also because humanity has an ancient mysterious connection with it? This article looks at the importance of Sirius throughout history and secret societies, and will describe the symbolism surrounding this. Sirius is located in the constellation Canis Major, also known as the Big Dog, and is therefore known as the Dog Star. It's over 20 times brighter than our Sun, and is twice as massive. At nighttime, Sirius is the brightest star in the sky, and its blue-white glare never fails to amaze the stargazer since the dawn of time. No wonder Sirius has been revered by practically all civilizations. But is there more to Sirius than meets the eye? Artifacts of ancient civilization have revealed that Sirius was of a great importance in astronomy, mythology, occultism, mystery schools considered to be the sun behind the sun, and therefore the true source of our sun's potency. If our sun's warmth keeps the physical world alive, Sirius is considered to keep the spiritual world alive, and it's the real light, quote unquote, shining in the east, the spiritual light, where the sun illuminates the physical world, which is considered to be the grand illusion. Associating Sirius with the divine and even considering it as the home of humanity's quote unquote great teachers is not only embedded in mythology of a few primitive civilizations, it's a widespread belief that has survived and even intensified to this day. And we'll look at the importance of Sirius in ancient times, analyze its prominence in secret societies, and we will examine these esoteric concepts as they are translated in popular culture. In ancient civilizations, in ancient Egypt, Sirius was regarded as the most important star in the sky. In fact, it was astronomically the foundation of the Egyptians' entire religion system. It was revered as Sophis and was associated with Isis, the mother goddess of Egyptian mythology. Isis is the female aspect of the Trinity formed by herself, Osiris, and her son Horus. Ancient Egyptians held Sirius in such a high regard that most of their deities were associated in some way or other with the star. Anubis, the dog-headed god of death, had an obvious connection with the dog star, and Thoth Hermes Trismegistus, the great teacher of humanity, was also esoterically connected with the star. The Egyptian calendar system was based on the heliacal rising of Sirius that occurred just before the annual flooding of the Nile during the summer. The star celestial movement was also observed and revered by ancient Greeks, Sumerian, Babylonians, and countless other civilizations. The star was therefore considered sacred, and its apparition in the sky was accompanied by feasts and celebrations. The dog star heralded the coming of the hot and dry days of July and August, hence the popular term, the dog days of summer. Several occult researchers have claimed that the Great Pyramid of Giza was built in perfect alignment with the stars, especially Sirius. The light from these stars were said to be used in ceremonies of Egyptian mysteries. Quote, these ancient people, Egyptians, knew that once every year, the parent sun is in line with the dog star. Therefore, the Great Pyramid was so constructed that at this sacred moment, the light of the dog star fell upon the square stone of God at the upper end of the Great Gallery, descending upon the head of the high priest, who received a supersolar force and saw through his own perfected solar body to transmit it to initiates this added stimulation for the evolution of their godhead. This is when the purpose of the stone of God, whereon in the ritual Osiris sits to bestow upon him the illuminate, the ATF crown, or celestial light. North and south of that crown is love, proclaims the Egyptian hymn. And thus throughout the teaching of Egypt, the visible light was but the shadow of the invisible light, and in the wisdom of the ancient country, the measures of truth where there were the years of the Most High. End quote. Recent scientific discoveries related to the Great Pyramid and its mysterious air shafts, quote unquote, have led researchers to further confirm the importance of Sirius within the pyramid. A fascinating aspect of Sirius is the consistency of the symbolism and meanings attached to it. Several great civilizations have indeed associated Sirius with a dog-like figure and viewed the star as either the source or the destination of a mysterious force. In Chinese and Japanese astronomy, Sirius is known as the star of the celestial wolf. Several Aboriginal tribes of North America refer to the star in canine terms. The Seri and Tohono O'odham tribes of the Southwest describe the Sirius as a dog that follows mountain sheep, end quote, quote unquote, while the Blackfoot called it dog face. The Cherokee paired Sirius with Antares as a dog star guardian of the path of souls. The Wolf Skeety tribe of Nebraska knew it as the Wolf Star, while other branches knew it as the Coyote Star. Further north, the Alaskan Inuit of the Bering Strait called it the Moon Dog. The Dogon tribe in Atlantis. In 1971, the American author Robert Temple published a controversial book titled The Sirius Mystery, where he claimed that the Dogons, an ancient African tribe from Mali, knew details about Sirius that would be impossible to know without the use of telescopes. According to him, the Dogon understood the binary nature of Sirius, which is in fact composed of two stars named Sirius A and Sirius B. This led Robert Temple to believe that the Dogons had direct connections with beings from Sirius. While some might say you can't be Sirius, a great number of secret societies who have historically held within their ranks some of the world's most influential people, and belief systems teach about a mystical connection between Sirius and humanity. In Dogon mythology, humanity is said to be born from the Nommo, a race of amphibians who were inhabitants of a planet circling Sirius. They are said to have descended from the sky in a vessel accompanied by fire and thunder and imparted to humans profound knowledge. This led Robert Temple to theorize that the Nommos were extraterrestrial inhabitants of Sirius who traveled to Earth at some point in the distant past to teach ancient civilizations such as the Egyptians and the Dogons about the Sirius star system as well as our own solar system. These civilizations would then record the Nommos' teachings in their religions and make them a central focus for their mysteries. The Dogon's mythological system is strikingly similar to the ones of other civilizations such as the Sumerians, Egyptians, Israelites, and Babylonians, as it includes the archetype myth of a great teacher from above, quote unquote. Depending on the civilization, this great teacher is known as either Enoch, Thoth, or Hermes Trismegistus, and is said to have taught humanity theurgic sciences. In occult traditions, it's believed that Thoth Hermes had taught the people of Atlantis, which according to legend became the world's most advanced civilization before the entire continent was submerged by the Great Deluge. Accounts of a flood can be found in mythologies of countless civilizations. Survivors from Atlantis traveled by boat to several countries, including Egypt. Well, we know that the survivor from Atlantis, one of them was Thoth, and I have a playlist of videos on the Emerald Tablets, which he wrote, and they did not have ships to sail. They had spacecraft and aircraft. That was how advanced their technology was. But going back to this, survivors from Atlantis traveled by boat to several countries, including Egypt, where they imparted their advanced knowledge. Occultists believe that the implication resembles the resemblances between distant civilizations, such as the Mayas and the Egyptians, can be explained by their common contact with the Atlanteans. Was the religious, philosophic, and scientific knowledge possessed by the priestcrafts of antiquity secured from Atlantis, whose submergence obliterated every vestige of its part in the drama of world progress? Atlantean sun worship has been perpetuated in the ritualism and ceremonialism of both Christianity and pagandom. Both the cross and the serpent were Atlantean emblems of divine wisdom. The divine Atlantean progenitors, the Mayans and Quiches of Central America, coexisted with the green and azure radiance of Gukumats, the plumed serpent. The 6 sky-born sages came into manifestation as centers of light bound together or synthesized by the 7th and chief of the order, the feathered snake. The title of winged or plumed snake was applied to Quetzalcoatl or Kukulkan, the Central American initiate. The center of the Atlantean wisdom religion was presumably a great pyramidal temple standing on the brow of a plateau rising in the midst of the city of the Golden Gates, and from there the initiate priest of the sacred feather went forth, carrying the keys of the universal wisdom to the uttermost parts of the earth. From the Atlanteans, the world has received not only the heritage of arts and crafts, philosophies and sciences, ethics and religions, but also the heritage of hate, strife, and perversion. The Atlanteans instigated the first war. It's been said that all subsequent wars were fought in a fruitless effort to justify the first one and right the wrong which it caused. Before Atlantis sunk, its spiritual illumined initiates, who realized that their land was doomed because it had departed from the path of light, withdrew from the ill-fated continent. Carrying with them the sacred and secret doctrine, these Atlanteans established themselves in Egypt, where they became the first divine rulers. Nearly all of the great cosmologic myths forming the foundation of the various sacred books of the world are based upon the Atlantean mystery rituals. And yes, this is exactly what Thoth the Atlantean told us, that he had gone to Egypt. He was one of the first deities and rulers of Egypt. He's also credited with the construction of the Giza Plateau. Is Thoth Hermes Trismegistus the equivalent of Dogon's Nomos, who are believed to originate from Sirius? Ancient texts concerning Hermes describes him as a teacher of mysteries who, quote, came from the stars, end quote. Furthermore, Thoth Hermes was directly connected with Sirius in Egyptian mythology. Quote, the dog star, the star worshipped in Egypt and reverenced by the occultists, by the former because its heliacal rising with the sun was a sign of the beneficial inundation of the Nile, and by the latter because it is mysteriously associated with Thoth, Hermes, god of wisdom, and Mercury in another form. Thus, Sothis Sirius had, and still has, a mystic and direct influence over the whole living heaven, and is connected with almost every god and goddess. It was Isis in the heaven, quote unquote, and called Isis Sothis, for Isis was, quote, in the constellation of the dog, end quote, as is declared on her monuments. Being connected with the pyramids, Sirius was therefore connected with the initiations which took place in it. The Trismegistus treatise, the Virgin of the World from Egypt, refers to the black rite connected with the black Osiris as the highest degree of secret initiation possible in the ancient Egyptian religion. It's the ultimate secret of the mysteries of Isis. This treatise, says Hermes, came to earth to teach men civilization, and then again, mounted to the stars, going back to his home and leaving behind the mystery religion of Egypt with its celestial secrets which were someday to be decoded. Unquote. Interpreting the mythology of ancient cultures is not an exact science, and connections are inherently difficult to prove. However, the symbolic link between Sirius and occult knowledge has constantly appeared throughout history and has seamlessly traveled through the ages. In fact, it's as revered today as it was millennia ago. Modern secret societies such as the Freemasons, the Rosicrucians, and the Golden Dawn, which are considered to be Hermetic orders, due to the fact their teachings are based on those of Hermes Trismegistus, all attribute to Sirius the utmost importance. An educated look at their symbolism provides a glimpse at the profound connection between Sirius and occult philosophy. Sirius in occult symbolism and secret societies. To claim that Sirius is important, quote unquote, to Hermetic orders would be a gross understatement. The dog star is nothing less than the central focus of the teachings and symbolism of secret societies. The ultimate proof of this fact, many secret societies are actually named after the star. In the tarot card, the 17th numbered major trump is called Les Étoiles, French for the star, and portrays a young girl kneeling with a foot in the water and the other on her body, somewhat suggesting the swastika. She has two urns, the contents of which she pours upon the land and the sea. Above the girl's head are 8 stars, one of which is exceptionally large and bright, and Comte de Gebelin considers the great star to be Sothis or Sirius, and the other 7 are the special sacred planets of the ancients. He believes the female figure to be Isis in the act of causing the inundation of the Nile, which accompanied the rising of the dog star. The unclothed figure of Isis may well signify that nature does not receive her garment of verdure until the rising of the Nile waters releases the germinal life of plants and flowers. In Freemasonry, in Masonic lodges, Sirius is known as the blazing star, and a simple look at its prominence on Masonic symbolism reveals its utmost importance. The Masonic author William Hutcheson wrote about Sirius. It's the first and most exalted object that demands our attention in the lodge. The same way the light of Sirius made its way into the Grand Pyramid during initiations, it's a symbolically present item in Masonic Lodge. The ancient astronomers saw all the great symbols of Masonry in the star Sirius, as it glitters in their lodges as the blazing star. Quote, the blazing star originally represented Sirius, or the dog star, the forerunner of the inundation of the Nile, the god Anubis, accompanying of Isis in her search for the body of Osiris, her brother and husband. Then it became an image of Horus, the son of Osiris himself, symbolized also by the sun, the author of the seasons and the god of time, son of Isis, who was the universal nature, himself the primitive matter, inexhaustible source of life, spark of uncreated fire, universal seed of all beings. It was Hermes, also the master of learning, whose name in Greek is that of the god Mercury. Hermes. End quote. Now, in Freemasonry, it's taught that the blazing star is a symbol of deity, of omnipresence, the Creator is present everywhere, and of omniscience, the Creator sees and knows all. Sirius is therefore the sacred place all Masons must ascend to. It is the source of divine power and the destination of divine individuals, this concept often represented in Masonic art. To achieve perfection, the initiate must successfully understand and internalize the dual nature of the world, good and evil, masculine and feminine, black and white, etc., through alchemical metamorphosis. This concept is symbolically presented by the union of Osiris and Isis, male and female principles, to give birth to Horus, the star child, the Christ-like figure, the perfected man of Freemasonry, who is equated with the blazing star. Sun, the moon, and representing the two grand principles, the male and female, both shed their light upon the offspring and blazing star or Horus. In Egyptian hieroglyphy, representing Sirius has been esoterically interpreted to be the representation of the cosmic trinity, and this concept is so crucial for Freemasons, it was embedded in some of the most important structures in the world, as stated by Albert Pike. The Egyptian god Horus and the star Sirius are often associated. In Masonic symbolism, the eye of Horus, or the all-seeing eye, is often depicted surrounded by glittering light of Sirius. And given the symbolic correlation between the all-seeing eye and Sirius, the next image becomes self-explanatory. The Washington Monument, an Egyptian obelisk representing the male principle, is directly connected with the dome of the Capitol, representing the female principle, and together they produce Horus, an unseen energy represented by Sirius. So, considered to be the female version of Freemasonry throughout men, although men can join, the Order of the Eastern Star, OES, is directly named after Sirius, the star rising from the east. A general public explanation of the origins of the order's name claims it originated from the Star of the East that led the three magi to Christ Jesus. A look into the occult meaning of the order's symbolism, however, makes it clear that the OES is reference to Sirius, the most important star of Freemasonry, its parent organization. Madame Blavatsky, Alice Bailey, and Theosophy Helena Blavatsky, and Alice Bailey, the two main figures associated with Theosophy, have both considered Sirius to be a source of esoteric power. Blavatsky stated that the star Sirius exerts a mystic and direct influence over the entire living heaven and is linked with every great religion of antiquity. Alice Bailey sees the dog star as a true great white lodge and believes it to be the home of the spiritual hierarchy, and for this reason she considers Sirius as the star of initiation. Quote, "This is the great star of initiation because our hierarchy, an expression of the second aspect of divinity, is under the supervision or spiritual magnetic control of the hierarchy of Sirius. These are the major controlling influences whereby the cosmic Christ works upon the Christ principle in the solar system, in the planet, in man, and in the lower forms of life expression, and it's esoterically called the brilliant star of sensitivity." Not unlike many esoteric writers, Bailey considers Sirius to have a great impact on human life. Quote, "All that can be done here in dealing with this profound subject is to enumerate briefly some of the cosmic influences which definitely affect our Earth and produce results in the consciousness of men everywhere, and which during the process of initiation bring about certain specific phenomena. First and foremost is the energy or force emanating from the sun, Sirius, and if it might be so expressed, the energy of thought or mind force in its totality reaches the solar system from a distant cosmic center via Sirius. Sirius acts as the transmitter or the focalizing center whence emanate those influences which produce self-consciousness in man." End quote. Aleister Crowley, the AA, and Kenneth Grant. In 1907, Crowley started his own occult order called the AA, short for Argenteum Astrum, which can be translated to the Order of the Silver Star. The Silver Star was, of course, a reference to Sirius. Even if Crowley almost always referred to the dog star in veiled terms, the whole of his magical philosophy, from his development as a young Freemason through to his final years as the head of the OTO, is wholly in accordance with the Syrian influence, which was identified and expressed by other writers of his era. His alleged contact with his holy guardian angel, that later led to the channeling of Liber Al, the Book of the Law, is believed to have originated from Sirius. If Crowley used code words that describe Sirius, his protege Kenneth Grant has explicitly and extensively written about the dog star, and throughout his numerous books, he often describes Sirius as being a powerful center of magnetic power. His belief that the star holds the central key to unlocking the mysteries of the Egyptian and Typhonian traditions has strengthened over time and become a central focus for his research. One of the Grant's most important and controversial theses was his discovery of the Sirius Set current, which is an extraterrestrial dimension connecting Sirius, the Earth, and Set, the Egyptian god of chaos, who was later associated with Satan. Set is the initiator, the opener of man's consciousness in rays of the underlying god, typified by Sirius, the sun in the south. Sirius, or Set, is the original headless one, the light of the lower region of the south, who was known in Egypt as An, the dog. Hence Set An, Satan, lord of the infernal regions, the place of heat, later interpreted in the moral sense as hell. So you can understand that this is really, really enlightening what we're finding out here. Okay, the sun, of Sirius is actually the evil one. Although each occult philosophy describes this in a slightly different way, it's still consistently regarded as the sun behind the sun, the true source of the occult power. It's perceived as the cradle of human knowledge, and the belief of the existence of the strong connection between the star and planet Earth never seems to become outdated. Well, how can, my comment here is, how can it be the cradle of human knowledge when it's he's the lord of the infernal regions and the place of heat and hell? I mean, that totally contradicts itself, doesn't it? So, is there a true link between Sirius and Earth? I should hope not, because of what we just read. Is the dog star an esoteric symbol representing something happening in the spiritual world? Is it both? One thing for sure, the cult of Sirius is not a thing of the past and is very alive today. An in-depth look at our popular culture, which is heavily influenced by occult symbolism, reveals numerous references to Sirius. In Disney's Pinocchio, based on a story written by Freeman Carlo Collodi, Geppetto prays to the brightest star in the sky to have a real boy. The blue fairy, her color is reference to Sirius' blue light glow, then descends from the heavens to give life to Pinocchio. Throughout the Marionette's quest to become a boy, or an allegory for esoteric initiation, the blue fairy god guides Pinocchio towards the right path, quote unquote. Sirius is therefore presented as a source of life, a guide, and a teacher. It's amazing. I never even knew that. In conclusion, from the dawn of civilization to modern times, from remote tribes of Africa to the great capitals of the modern world, Sirius was and still is seen as a life giver. Again, my comment is, how can he be a life giver when he's Satan? And now, despite the disparity between cultures and epochs, the same mysterious attributes are given to the dog star, which can lead to ask, how can all these definitions synchronize so perfectly? Okay, so this is referenced to Manly P. Hall, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, Marshall Adams, The Book of the Master, Helena Blavatsky, Robert Temple, Manly P. Hall again, Albert Pike, Alice Bailey, and this is on Humans Are Free by Alexander Light. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events. events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.